We will now move to our first keynote address. It is my honor to introduce Professor Dr. Jude William Genilo, an eminent voice in media and communication innovation. Professor Jude William Genilo is the Pro Vice Chancellor and Communication Professor at the University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, ULAB. With his Doctor of Philosophy and Master's degree in Communication from the University of the Philippines-Diliman, he has led academic programs across Asia and authored the book Community-Based Communication, a new approach to development communication. His current research is on artificial intelligence and societal polarization. Please let's welcome Professor Jude William Genilo.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction and allow me to share my screen. Okay, I hope this is visible. Mhm. Okay. So good morning. Oh, good afternoon to everyone there in Malaysia, colleagues and fellow educators. It's an honor to join you at ICOMGAM IIMCS 2025, where we gather to reflect not only on innovation in teaching, but on what quality education truly means in our rapidly changing world. Let me begin with a story close to home. At the University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, our faculty and students partnered with Durham University on a project called Community Digital Storytelling. Together, we worked with the Munda Youth, one of Bangladesh's most marginalized indigenous communities. We trained these young people using mobile and smartphones to tell their own stories. They spoke about their struggles, their community faces every day, such as the loss of farmland due to rising sea levels, malnutrition and health challenges, disappearing livelihoods that push them to seek refuge in Dhaka, and perhaps more heartbreakingly, the gradual loss of their native tongue. The project produced a series of short videos, honest, unfiltered, windows into the lives of often ignored by the mainstream media. Each video was more than a documentation, it was a dialogue. It was a way for the community to say, we exist, we matter. Paulo Freire, the great educator and philosopher, once said, to speak a true word is to transform the world. Okay, I'll repeat. To speak a true word is to transform the world. But what struck us most wasn't just the videos, it was the transformation that happened in the process. Among the Munda youth, among our students, and even among the faculty. They began to see education not as just instruction, but as interaction, a co-learning space where communication became a bridge of empathy and empowerment. That project captured the essence of quality education, education that transforms both the learner and the learning environment. So, when we use the phrase quality education, we use it often, but what does it mean in today's context of automation, information overload, and digital inequality? When you hear the word quality, what comes to mind? Is it accreditation standards, job something human? In an era where AI can write essays and summarize research projects, our challenge as educators is not access to information, but access to meaning. Paulo Freire reminds us that education either functions as an instrument to bring about conformity or freedom. So I ask you today, are our classrooms spaces of conformity or spaces of freedom? Do we teach communication as a set of technical skills or as a process of liberation, empathy, and social imagination? When we talk about quality, many institutions still measure it in terms of compliance and control, meeting accreditation criteria, achieving satisfaction scores, or avoiding problems. But quality education is not simply about avoidance of problems. It is about the presence of purpose. One of the most useful frameworks to understand is the learning organization model. In this model, a truly quality focused university is one that learns continuously as a system, as a community. Such an institution has awareness of external needs and changes, internal process monitoring to ensure reflection and accountability, program evaluation and development planning based on real feedback, staff development that empowers educators to innovate, and above all, the capacity to adapt, to adjust to environmental shifts, and overcome internal barriers. This means quality education is a living process, not a checklist. It involves continuous improvement and institutional learning, an ongoing conversation between the vision and practice. So, when we say quality, we are talking about the culture of learning that exists within the organization itself. Is our institution learning as fast as the world around it is changing? Are we cultivating not just compliance, but consciousness? When we do that, we transform quality assurance into quality culture. If agency is the goal, then innovation is the pathway. And innovation, I believe, unfolds in three dimensions: pedagogical, technical, and curricular. Pedagogical innovation is about transforming the learning experience itself. In the ULAB Durham project I earlier mentioned, it was not just about a research collaboration, it was an experiment in experiential learning. Our faculty and students didn't teach the Munda youth, they learned with them. That experience challenged our faculty and students' biases, expanding their worldview and developed their capacity for listening as a communicative act. In other classrooms, journalism students can simulate ethical crisis to practice decision making under pressure. Public relations students can use gamified learning to understand audience psychology and empathy. Film and digital media students can co create with communities to build narratives of resilience. When was the last time your students surprised you? Not with polished outputs, but with profound insight. That is when learning becomes truly alive. Next comes the technology, the force reshaping education faster than any syllabus can keep up. AI tools can analyze writing, curate data, and even personalize learning pathways. But here is the question: does technology deepen understanding, or does it just make information faster? True technological innovation supports reflection, not replacement. Imagine using AI to create virtual intercultural classrooms across Asia. AI to build simulations where students must navigate misinformation crisis. AI to develop adaptive storytelling tools that teach empathy and bias recognition. But Freire's warning still echoes. If technology silences the learner, it becomes another form of oppression. We must ensure that AI serves pedagogy and not the other way around. Let's turn to the heart of the educational transformation, the curriculum. Curriculum is not just a list of courses, it is the architecture of a worldview. And in the digital age, where information multiplies faster than understanding, curricular innovation must have a moral and cognitive mission. A truly 21st century curriculum should help weaken each learner's confirmation bias, weaken our echo chambers, weaken our filter bubbles. It should create intellectual discomfort, not comfort. It should challenge learners to encounter difference, to question their own assumptions. In other words, curriculum should nourish critical thinking and starve collective stupidity. Paulo Freire warns us against the banking model of education, where teachers deposit knowledge into passive students. He envisioned learning as an act of consciousness raising or conscientizado. So I ask, are our classrooms places of dialogue or places of deposits? Are our students trained to question or just to comply? What does success look like? Quality education is not just about cognitive outcomes, it is about behavioral transformation. But here lies a new paradox. In the age of AI, our very learning behaviors are changing. With so much information available, learners are developing mental shortcuts, scheming instead of studying, summarizing instead of synthesizing. In the digital age, the answer is just one click away. At first, that feels empowering. But what's really happening is that we are offloading our thinking process to machines. Over time, we begin to forget how to reason deeply. We stop asking why and settle for what. We no longer want to learn how to think. We just want the answer that confirms our intuition. Yet, at its core is a slow, effortful, difficult, and rational. It is not fast, automatic, and intuitive. If education becomes frictionless, it also becomes thoughtless. So, our task as educators is to restore the joy of effort, to help learners rediscover the value of struggling with complex ideas, of being productively confused, of thinking with patience. That is behavioral change of the highest order, a change in how we engage with knowing itself. Can we design learning experiences that slow students down so that they can think more deeply, not just more quickly? When we do that, we're nurturing what Freire called critical consciousness in the truest sense. As I conclude, I want to circle back to where we began, to the Munda community stories. Those young storytellers reminded us that innovation is not always about high technology. Sometimes it is about creating spaces where people can speak, listen, and be heard. And this brings 2025, our Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning will host the Educational Innovation Symposium 2025. This symposium will foster innovative, learner centered practices across disciplines, provide mentors to share and demonstrate innovations, and discuss policies and strategies to enhance blended learning. This, I believe, beautifully resonates with the mission of the Institute for Communications and Gamification Research and this very conference. Both our institutions are on championing not just innovation for its own sake, but innovation with purpose, empathy, and human centered values. As we go forth today, let us ask ourselves, how can our classrooms become spaces of liberation, not conformity? How can our students become agents of change, not consumers of content? As as educators, we learn the joy of learning itself. Freire reminds us that education is an act of love, and love is an act of courage. Let us then teach and innovate with courage. Thank you very much.